So guys, welcome back once again. As you all know, today's date being December 8th, 2025 was supposed to be Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's hearing. A day that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is meant to file an application seeking for his transfer from the Sokoto Correctional Center to a custodial facility closer to the Federal Capital Territory (FCT). Today was meant to be that day, but you can now say this particular man that calls himself Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court, he has adjourned it. This is what always gets me angry where Justice James Omotosho is. He doesn't want to hear anything about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That's why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was so angry with him, and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still furious and angry with him because he's telling him, show me the law. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu keeps telling him that he does not know the law. Now, why will he be using a repeal law to try someone? This is why anytime Mazi Nnamdi Kanu goes to the court, he boldly and confidently tells him that he does not know the law. Why would he be doing something like that? Now, he has decided and concluded with his federal court members that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's hearing for his transfer from Sokoto prison, now he has adjourned it to a new date. That is 27th of January 2026. You can imagine that. I don't know why Justice James Omotosho hates Mazi Nnamdi Kanu like this. And he does not want to even hear anything about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, as he called him a terrorist. He tagged him as a terrorist, so he does not want him released. Because why would he keep frustrating him this way? I don't understand. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was meant to file his application for his release today. But he had to adjourn it and fix January 27, 2026 for the new date to hear Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's motion. You can imagine that. They keep frustrating this man. They don't want this man to get released. Well, without wasting more time, there are two videos that I want to be displaying on your screen. These videos are so important not to miss. So watch these particular videos that will be displayed on your screen. Watch them to the end, and when we are back, we will definitely continue.
Biafra is not a crime. If Biafra is a crime, how do we call the people that go inside the bush to negotiate with Boko Haram? Biafra is not a crime. Yes, Biafra is not a crime. If Biafra is a crime, then tell me, how do we call the people that go into the forest? How do we call all the people that go inside the forest to negotiate with bandits, to negotiate with Boko Haram? How do we call them? Biafra is not a crime. Yes, Biafra is not a crime. We have three major tribes in Nigeria. We have Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo. If the Hausas rule the first tenor, the Yorubas should rule the second tenor. Then the Igbos should rule the third tenor. That is how we are going to fight for the betterment of the country. We should not sideline the Igbos. The Igbos are part of us. The Igbos, they are Nigerians. Biafra is not a crime. If Biafra is a crime, tell me the people that go into the bush to negotiate with the bandits, the people that go into the bush to negotiate with the Boko Haram, how do we call them? That is my question. Biafra is not a crime.
Private chats and messages asking me why I hate Nnamdi Kanu. And having taken a deep thought into it, I've searched my soul and I asked myself the same question. Why do I hate Nnamdi Kanu? And I have to be very honest with you, my audience and my friends who have raised these concerns and questions. I hate Nnamdi Kanu because I do not understand how a man who was comfortable in the United Kingdom, had everything coming for him, could sacrifice his happiness, that of his children and his wife, and even sacrifice his parents and a lot of loved friends that we have known over the years. Some of these friends traveled with him to Nigeria and they were in his village. And most of them were buried down right inside his house. And I remember when the army started shooting, I placed a call to him, to a friend, because I couldn't get him on phone. And I asked them, I said, these guys are about attacking your house and your father's compound. Can you find a way of escape? And the guy who took the phone to him, and I could hear Nnamdi Kanu right inside the house there saying that he is not going anywhere. that he will stay there and die with his people. And finally, I think they managed to rescue him out of that building by force, and the rest is history. But then, I began to think deeply, why I hate Nnamdi Kanu. How can somebody call 80 million people to reason, to tell them, to warn them about impending danger, and they despise him so much? How can somebody educate the Hausa people who joined the Fulanis in 1967 to kill 3 million of our people? How can he be talking about the Benue people and the Plateau who stopped the train coming from the north and removed our people and buried them? How can he want to defend the people who killed Kaduna and Zog? I just could not understand it. I just could not understand how Nnamdi Kanu was able to find 132 settlements of the jihadists or the terrorists in our territory. And he was calling everybody that had ears to hear that these people have started taking, positions around our riverbirds, and that an attack was imminent. The governors heard him say it. The elders of Igbo land heard him say it. The shameful senators then, they heard him. The House of Reps, people from the southeast, the clergy, everybody heard when Nnamdi was calling. But nobody paid heed to him. Everybody abandoned him. I could not understand how Nnamdi Kanu, knowing fully well that his followers, who were just only holding a flag and a song, were all died right in front of people, in front of children, in front of women. Mothers were crying all over Igbo land as their sons and daughters were displayed on police jeeps and police helices as they were drowned in mud water to drink the mud water. I just could not understand how such a person could go board a plane and went back to Nigeria and was arrested because he wanted to save his people. Nnamdi Kanu might have used certain languages that are unacceptable to certain people. But one thing that I hated Nnamdi Kanu for was his love for humanity, his love for justice, his love for equity, his love for understanding, his love for truth. And I remember him saying something which has always been in my heart up to today. He said, no matter how many people believe in a lie, that it will never change to become truth. And what is happening today? The lies that we've told ourselves since 1960, believed by over 200 and something million people, has the lie become truth today? No. All over Nigeria, we are seeing the failing of every infrastructure, every agency, every government department. There's a massive overhaul, over 100% failure in structure, in process and procedures. Nigeria is collapsing right before our eyes. Nnamdi Kanu warned. He talked about the migration of these people who will come to claim that they own Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu talked about the people who, the Easterners in the military. He told them that they will be targets.
So guys, welcome back once again. I believe we've all watched just two videos that was just displayed on your screen, and you can understand everything that the two young men they are trying to say. As you can see on your screen, court adjourns hearing on Nnamdi Kanu's request for transfer from Sokoto prison. Now we read in full details. Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned the hearing of an application filed by the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, seeking his transfer from the Sokoto Correctional Center to a custodial facility closer to the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. The court fixed January 27, 2026 as the new date to hear the motion. Kanu, who filed the request through the Legal Aid Council, is asking to be moved from the Sokoto Custodial Center to either the Kuje Custodial Center in Abuja or the Kefi Custodial Center in Nasarawa State. According to his legal team, the relocation is necessary to enable him to effectively pursue his appeal and consult with his lawyers. In an alternative plea, Kanu requested to be transferred to any custodial facility within the court's jurisdiction, including Suleja in Niger State, citing the difficulty of managing his defense from Sokoto. However, Kanu's special counsel, Barrister Aloy Jimakor, said that when the matter came up on Monday, Justice Omotosho directed that the Correctional Service and prosecution be put on notice. To all the faithful that have contacted me about Nnamdi Kanu's prison transfer hearing held today, here is the fact. Ejimako wrote in a post on his X account after the court session. The hearing was postponed to 27th January 2026 as the judge directed that the Correctional Service and prosecution be put on notice. In November, Kanu was sentenced to life imprisonment on a terrorism charges for declaring a sit-at-home order in the southeast, which the court ruled was enforced through threats and violence. The court also gave him concurrent sentences of 20 years and 5 years on other counts. The court cited international concerns over capital punishment in deciding against the death penalty. President Bola Tinubu's government later transferred Kanu from the Department of State Services DSS facility in Abuja to a correctional center in Sokoto State. Kanu's trial attracted national and international attention, with critics alleging political interference. However, Kanu and his legal team have repeatedly objected to his continued detention in the Sokoto facility, arguing that the long distance hampers his ability to effectively pursue an appeal against the judgment. The court linked Kanu's sit-at-home order to the killing of former presidential aide Ahmed Gulak and accused him of inciting violence through broadcasts. Justice Omotosho described Kanu as arrogant, cocky, and full of himself, adding that his rhetoric posed a serious threat to public safety. So guys, you can now see in full details. And we have now come to realize that this particular man called Justice James Omotosho does not want Nnamdi Kanu to get released. He hates Nnamdi Kanu so much. He has already tagged him as a terrorist. So he does not want Nnamdi Kanu released. This is why he has moved Nnamdi Kanu's motion for his seeking for his transfer to January 27, 2026. This is just to tell you that he does not want that particular man called Nnamdi Kanu released. Well, get to the comment section. Let me have your take on this. Like this video, share this video. Always leave a free Nnamdi Kanu in the comment section. And most importantly, hit the subscribe button and turn on this channel notification bell so that I won't be missing any training update about Nnamdi Kanu.